My name is Doug Smith, by the way. Some of you I've seen before, some of you, may be new. Just try to keep things PG. Sometimes I get excited and say something I shouldn't. And don't have any gussers in here to keep me from saying it, so I'm all right today. Well, maybe. I may not be tempted to say it. But when we get started, thank y'all for filing in, finding a seat, sitting quietly. Appreciate that. What I like to do is when we're doing trainings, I like to have an attention-getting signal, which I'm sure that you use with your students as well. So when I raise my hand, please raise your hand, follow the silence, and look at me. Okay? So let's practice. All right, go ahead and chat amongst yourselves.
Hi, Lorraine. What have you been doing today?
That's enough. That worked. Oh, wow. Thank you. Raising your hand, following the silence. Following the silence and paying attention to the speaker. Thank you. That's one of the things that we want to talk about a little bit today. It's throughout today. This day is, I'm going to sit down if y'all don't mind because I'm old. This day is all about you folks, about the greatest workers in the school system there are. My career, I've been an educator for 30 years or so. And I had instructional assistants or paraeducators or the teacher without the credentials pretty much in my classroom. And if it wasn't for those folks, I wouldn't have survived. I mean, I had my I guess experience or whatever is I worked at a residential treatment facility. And we had kiddos that were either, we were the last stop before they went home or back to their home environment, or they were there from psychiatric residential hospitalizations and court ordered. So, and I had boys, that's all I ever worked with, aged 13 to 17. And well, my first part of my career, that's all I worked with. Had 8 boys in a self-contained classroom, about as big as 2 of those tables put together. And these were big old kiddos, and they were from northern Kentucky, Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington, all those areas. Way out west, that way we wouldn't take kids from our area because across this mountain, I know where Uncle Jimbo lives. I'll give him a call, he'll come get me and I'm gone, So these other kids had no idea. So guess what I decided I was going to teach? Math skills, of course. Gonna make sure if y'all decide to take off, you're gonna get out of here. You're not gonna stay here all day and linger around. So anyway, so I had a couple of young ladies as instructional assistants at that time, and like I said, if it weren't for those folks, I wouldn't make it. I mean, because it was a stressful job, we could talk to each other, we could share ideas with each other, and it was just really, really important. I moved from there to regular school. Everybody work in a regular school here? What's regular? And so when I moved over there, I was self-contained EBD, K through 6, I think it was. Anyway, I had first, second, third grade little fellows and young ladies, and worked with 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. The easiest year I ever worked was with 7th and 8th grade because they already know everything, right? You don't have to teach them anything; they teach you a few things. So 7th and 8th grade. Then I had a couple little fellas. I did that for 6 years, 7 years, something like that. Then got a couple little fellas into the school that were in foster care. Y'all deal with any foster students, foster kids, and things like that? Know some of the background, or don't want to know some of the background of some of the stuff that they've come from, because, we look at traumatic experiences, man. These kiddos have had those traumatic experiences forever, So not saying that there's not good foster homes out there. I'm just saying you got a kiddo I'm here tonight, and today I went to school at, I don't know, East Prairie in the morning. I'm not at school at East Prairie. I'm sitting in a car with a garbage bag and my stuff in it, moving somewhere else in the middle of the night. Just imagine what kind of pressure that kiddo's under. They come to school, yeah, they have a rough day. Heck, if I was moved there in the middle of the night and thrown from here to there, I'd have a rough day as well. And a lot of times what happens, they bring that rough day to school, and if they've been with you for a while, they trust you enough to know that I can blow up or let off steam, and they're going to listen and try to help me. Not they're going to slap me, they're going to push me out, they're going to put me in the room or stuff. They're gonna listen, they're gonna be here to help me, to support me. I don't know what's going on, I don't know what help I need, but I know all I need is a kind face and a caring attitude. And so a lot of times that's what we get. But anyway, back to my kiddos, my little kindergarten kiddos, smartest kids I ever had in my life. Now, they came to me, I was first grade, 7 years old, never been in school before a day in their life. They would just hid and bounce back and forth and things like that. They taught themselves how to read, taught themselves mathematics. I mean, they were the smartest kids I'd ever had in my life. And I mean, I looked like I knew exactly what I was doing when they left. And it was all in. We had those, they're called My Super Yearbook or something. It's like a whole curriculum school year in one big handout book or whatever. We did those, you know. I mean, I was just trying to figure out what they could or couldn't do. So we did kindergarten, 2 kindergarten ones. Then we went to first grade one, completed it. Then went to second grade, completed it. And then third grade one, completed it. And I said, we need help with this math. You're not the only one, you know. So by the time they left, we completed like 5th, 6th grade of those workbooks. I mean, these kids were really, really smart. And for a reward, and we'll talk about that a little bit too. For a reward, I would take them to the library. You know, let's watch some videos or something like that. You know, thinking, yeah, you know, we watched Magic School Bus. You know, I've seen the Magic School Bus. I'm dating myself. That's a long time ago. And then there was another one they liked to watch at lunchtime called Kenny the Shark. And Kenny was a shark that lived with this little fellow and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it was pretty interesting. I got into it. I said, well, you boys better behave. We're going to miss Kenny today, and we're not doing that. So, but anyway, so we went to the library, and I was thinking, you know, 7-year-old kiddos, we're going to watch cartoons. Oh, no. Let's watch ecosystems. Let's watch biomes. Let's watch about space exploration. And I was like, all right, I'll see if I can find this video. Well, here's 8th grade. Here's a high school one. Let's do that. And I said, all right, guys, we're going to keep you happy. And they loved it, man. But I had a paraprofessional and had an instructional assistant with me in that classroom. And it was pretty much one-on-one. And I would work with one little fellow until I couldn't anymore. I mean, I tore all to pieces. And then the other one would be driving her crazy. And then we'd switch. And then, you know, they'd calm down a little bit and stuff like that. But thank you all so much for everything that you do for the kids in our school districts, the teachers in our school districts, just the families. I know it goes far beyond just being in that classroom, what y'all do for everyone. And thank you, and I appreciate that, and it's super, super wonderful having you here today. A lot of times, we give our kiddos a task to do, simple, easy to do. You know, what we did was very simple. We give them, all right, this is the task, here it is, this is what you can do, go back and get to work. What happens with our kiddos that are really good with hands-on, but they don't follow those visual directions well. They don't follow those oral directions as well. They need a little extra help or a little extra guidance or support or whatever. And a lot of times with the kiddos we work with, we have those ideas, we have those goals set for them, but we've done that without including them. And if you don't include a student in a goal, they're not going to be interested. They're not going to be vested, or they're not going to buy in. So, you know, one thing is, like I said, my big thing is I always talk about building relationships, you know, and hopefully you have those opportunities to build relationships with the kiddos you work with. I know it's difficult at times, but building those relationships helps you when a student needs someone worse. You know, a lot of times they bring those bad behaviors to school or those inappropriate behaviors, and it just gets to you to the point where you're like, you know, you got to remember, you got to separate the behavior from the kid. A lot of times that's hard to do, but it's the behavior that's upsetting, not necessarily the student. Does that make sense? Because a lot of times I've been so mad at my boys, I couldn't stand it, and got to thinking about it. And if one of them come up and said, I need a hug, I'd hug that baby. But at that point, it was that behavior that I didn't like, and it was hard to separate those two, but you got to separate those behaviors. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started because we got to make sure I've got a lot of stuff to cover. Like I said, thank y'all for being here. Appreciate it. I'm Doug Smith again. I think everyone, when you come in, should have picked up one of these lovely books. Just have that available if you don't mind. And I don't know if you open yours, but one open mine that doesn't have any page numbers. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the page numbers? Yeah, so we ordered these books on May 29th. Guess when these books were printed? May 29th. Yeah, so I was like, yeah, that was wild. Wait a minute, there's no page numbers in here. They got some quick and current knowledge. Forget page numbers. It's a really cool reference material, really cool book. We're going to talk about some ideas. I'm going to talk about some ideas, give you some suggestions, and then you're going to work together real quickly and come up with another great idea, something that I may not have thought of. It's hard to think of what you're going to say, and then after you get through, you said too much or you forgot to say something. Again, my name's Doug Smith. We're going to be talking about the PRO Paraeducator, which is proactive. Here it is professional. As far as I'm concerned, my books, you all are awesome folks. It says there's hundreds of smart ideas for some. Yeah, you can read it. I ain't going to. There's a bunch of stuff in that book and make you smart or make you feel good. So there you go. First thing we're going to talk about are the talking points that I'm going to talk about. So we're going to be looking at promoting positive behavior, maximizing the use of time, effective instructional strategies, and being part of the instructional team. All right, so what I want to do is, these around 8 folks right here, in your book, please turn to the section that says promoting positive behavior. Bookmark it, thumbprint it, something, some way that you can get back to it when we get to that section. You three and Miss Tammy, that section back there. Maximizing use of time. Like I said, just bookmark it some way that you can. Yes, ma'am. And it's got the clocks on it. Okay? And this section, these 7 tables, would you please look over effective instructional strategies? It's near the back of it. It's after the section. And then this section back here, please look in your book. It's the last part of the booklet, being part of the instructional team. Like I said. Yeah, so this is ones. Raise your hand if you're number 1, first section. Thank you. 2s, second section. Good. 3s, this section, and 4. All right. So when we're looking at promoting positive behavior, we're going to be talking about establishing positive relationships. I'm going to give you some ideas on establishing positive relationships. One of the things that my guys really enjoyed when I was trying to develop or create relationships or whatever, encourage relationships, was they wanted me to know about them. They wanted me to know what was going on in their life, what they like to do as a hobby. You know, what are some things that you may have to research in order to be able to talk to those folks. I had some little girls when I was at the regular school, or you know, I didn't know what is my little pony or whatever it was. Yeah. One of them little girls wanted to talk about My Little Pony. I was My Little Lost. Google is a wonderful tool. I had to Google My Little Pony, so I watched My Little Pony and I read My Little Pony. Then she turned around and changed the whole subject idea on me. And I was like, well, there went all that stuff, start all over again. But find something that you can build a relationship, something that you can talk to your kiddos with. You know, they want to know about you just as much as they want you to know about them. Share with them a lot about yourself, but be very cautious on what you share, because if they get upset, what's the first thing you're going to do? They're going to start looking for those buttons to push. And one of them is going to be, you know, me, it was always, why are you short? You short, blah, 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 and all that stuff. You know, they would always do that. But usually that bothered me because I can't do nothing about that. And then they figured out that didn't bother me. Then they start attacking my professionalism. You're the worst teacher I've ever had, you know, so-and-so does this so much better, all this stuff. You know, have a scripted response, you're right. You know, we've not got into my flow of things yet. I know how to do some stuff, not everything. We'll find my niche, my passion, and we all learn. And so, or you can say, what did you get Mr. McPherson next door? You think I'm the worst? I mean, I would say. So find humor that you can put into your day. You know, don't be sarcastic with our kids, because a lot of our kids we work with don't understand sarcasm, but you can still find humor and be humorous and enjoy your day, enjoy your work. Knowing and supporting the rules. So let me get to this one real quick. And we get, so, well, I look like I said. Any questions? Right, so in my booklet, I highlighted a few things. This first one I highlighted was consider your student's best interest when you seek to establish a relationship with them. What is your student's
What
best
page is that on? Where are you at?
I don't know. Very simple. It's a, yeah. It's
What's the
about
top say?
establishing positive relationships.
It was a little bit.
What page?
It's 2 or 3 pages.
Yeah, it's not far.
Maybe 4.
No, it's next. Yeah, there you go. All right. Right, so like I said, some of the things that I've highlighted, flowers grow out of dark moments. We call those rose, what are those? Rose and grows, rosebuds and grows, you know. What is something positive that happened to you this week? All right, so what is today? Tuesday? Yeah. So, it is Tuesday, isn't it? So everybody looked at me like, what? Wait a minute, are you sure? All right, I woke up this morning, I'm not sure what day it is, but that's a positive right there. So think about your day is going to be happy. Now, we know that. How many new paraeducators do we have? Most experienced, new? No,
Everybody says that.
no, you'll love that. Everybody's being sarcastic. It is. You will have hectic days, but at the end of that day, find something that you can be positive about. That may have been that little Dougie came to school that morning and had his shoes on the wrong feet, so you switched them over for him, and he kept them on the right feet all day long. That is a win right there. Woo-hoo! Or little Dougie came to school this morning, he smiled at me for the first time in 6 weeks, or first time in 3 weeks. That's positive. What did you do to brighten that kid's day? You did something. One of my little fellas talked about feet. The principal came down through there. He'd come down the hallway at the beginning of the school year one year, and the principal looked at him and said, "Son, you've grown a foot." He looked down and said, "Nope, still just got 2." The principal's like, "What did he say?" I said, "Man, he just burned you, man. I don't know what he said." Yeah, tickled me to death. He said, "Get your shoes on the wrong feet." "Not the only feet I got." Can't have that. Anyway. Another thing, be honest in your interactions with your students. Of course, you want the students to see the real you. You want to be honest. You want to praise them. You want to encourage them. You have to correct them at times, but be positive with those corrections. And then, you know, always be encouraging. Some of our kiddos don't have that encouragement. You know that. We don't have that encouragement. Some of us as adults don't have that encouragement from home or from our folks that we work with. So encourage those students, be positive, and set high expectations and high goals. Yeah, I know it may be difficult to achieve those high goals and those high expectations, but still have those for all kids. You know, because they will live up to what you expect of them, right? If you expect them not to be doing anything, not being able to accomplish anything, what are you going to get throughout the school day? I can't do it. I need help. You know, write that for me. No, you can do this. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you, but I'm not doing it for you. And so have those high expectations. Another thing is stay focused on the student that you're working with. If I came in and I'm sitting up here, you know, doing this number right here, you know, looking over my papers and getting my coffee, and turning my back, oh well, you know, what's that gonna make you feel like? You're not going to be there. You're not going to want to be there, right? Yeah, and that's our students pick up on that. Students pick up on that a lot quicker than adults do. You know, some of us have those social problems, but our students pick up on that. So make sure that you provide them with that individual attention. They're the most important person in the world to you at that point, right there. Okay, so encourage those kids. All right, so as we're going on, you take a couple minutes, everyone, take a couple minutes, look over these, and we're going to have group one to share out a couple of great ideas. Knowing and supporting the rules. When we get to talk about knowing and supporting the rules, make sure that you know what the rules are. that you know what the consequences are. Make sure that you may not be able to set the rules up in the whole classroom, but if you have a small area in that classroom, yeah, you want the big rocks, but have your rules and expectations for your stations or whatever. This is how you come into my area, this is how you sit down, this is how you get your materials out. Anything that you have a procedure or a routine for, teach that, practice, model that, and practice that with your students. You know, we don't get the rules right the first day we walk into school. A lot of times it's I read the rules and expectations, they're on the board. Let's go. All right, open your book to page 15. We're getting started right now. What's expected of me? How do I ask for assistance? How do I turn in homework? How do I pick up missed assignments? You know, you have to think about what are some things that you're going to encounter and what are some ways that you can proactively be ready and be prepared for that. I think Dr. Anita Archer, this wonderful lady, wrote explicit instruction. Danny Paul, Mr. Mays is going to be presenting, I think, about explicit instruction. No, he's doing that. But anyway, she was a wonderful lady. I mean, it's just good teaching practices. And she has always said, if you can expect it, pre-correct it. If I expect we're going to the cafeteria or doing to the gym or auditorium, whatever, for an assembly program, and little Dougie and little Johnny can't sit beside each other, what am I going to do when they line up beside each other and sit beside each other?
Move on.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make a correction. I know, yeah, I'm not going to say, now, you all know you can't sit together. You can't get along. It's going to be terrible.
Sorry.
Once you go over there and you go over there, blah, blah, blah. No, you want to be discreet about it, but you got to have some way that you know your kids and be able to sit the ones that can sit together. So getting to know your kids is a big thing. Organizing for success. Oh, that drove me crazy. Organization. My desk is a mess, but if you ask me for this material or something else for this kiddo, I can go straight to it, pick it up, and have it ready. When you're organizing, make sure that you're organizing your materials where they're easily accessible. You can get those materials and you know what's necessary and what's not. I always had to have extra handouts coming. You know, because, you know, I had a perfectionist. If I got a mark somewhere wrong, it's wadded up and in the trash or shoved out on the floor. Right there is when you interact try to stop that inappropriate behavior from escalating. Oh, I'm sorry. It's all right. I got you another sheet. Don't worry about it. It's cool. That's fine. We was ready. I make mistakes too, so that's why I made an extra copy. But have extra handouts if you need them. If you've got 4 or 5 handouts, you know, some of our kids get overwhelmed. My boys, if I gave them 40 worksheets, handouts to do, front and back, they couldn't do it. Too much. I can't do it too much. If I gave them 80 single page handouts, oh, they burn those up, do those all day long. It was just that thought of all this work I gotta get done. I'm overwhelmed, I can't do it, so I'm not doing anything. It happens to me when it comes to house cleaning. Oh my God, I think I'll just go ride a motorcycle. Now, he'll use doing it, so. But have your stuff organized and have your students organized. All right, you folks look at the first chapter real quickly, and everyone just take a couple minutes, and we'll do 2 minutes, and then be ready to share out, and we'll go on to the second
So
section.
you want us to go to our chapter?
Yeah, when we get through a quick overview of it, then y'all can talk about it. All right, so you folks have got 2 minutes. Pressure's on. Oh. Do I need to clarify anything? Good? And then there may be ideals that are not covered in this book, which is, these are just some suggestions. It's not, of course, it's not everything. You folks may have these great ideas that are already working for you, so. Cool Rouge. And then we may try to do that wrap up activity. All right, what we got, folks? That's a short 2 minutes with it. Oh, we got. Hey, put you on the spot. Pressure's on. How'd that make you feel? Just like our kiddos, right? Boom. What did I do? It's all right, it's okay. We're all in this together, you'll be fine. So, give me an idea about building relationships. Why is it important to build a relationship with the students?
Trust.
Pardon? Trust. Thank you. Very good. Trust. Your relationships need to be built on trust. If you do something in front of class and you mess up and you break that trust, you need to repair that harm. You need to apologize. That's a hard thing to do to little fellas. Get down on their level and say, I'm sorry. That's a difficult thing to do. But that helps you repair that trust, and it also helps them to build that idea of they make a mistake as well. They're big enough that they can apologize. You're setting a good example. You're modeling appropriate behavior. When I mess up, apologize. You may not be able to fix it, but you can repair the harm. What did we do? Fix it. Make that better. All right, what else we got?
Fairness.
Fairness.
You gotta be fair to each one. Give a lot of time to each one. Set your time to them.
And I like what you said, it's fair to each. Now, are we gonna treat everybody equal? If we treat everyone equal,
Sometimes you can't.
Someone's gonna lose something.
right, so you gotta meet them with equity, not equality. You know, you gotta meet the kids where they're at with what they need. You know, I don't know if you've seen the image of the little fella standing out beside the fence watching a baseball game, and one tall kid, he's standing there watching over, you know, and all these other kids trying to look around and see what's going on. Well, they're all different heights. So they said, right, we're gonna be fair. Let's give everyone a milk crate to stand on. So the tall kid's already standing up there now. He's this high above the fence. Little fella can barely pick up on his tiptoes. He can now see the two other little fellas. They're still this far from being able to see over the fence. Everyone was treated fairly. Was it the right thing to do? No, because everyone did get what they needed to be able to be successful. So we gotta look at, are we treating everyone with equity, not just equality? Everyone don't get the same thing. Some of us need more help, more supports, more encouragement than others. And let your students know that as well. You know, we all don't get the same thing. This class is fair, but it's not gonna be equal. We're not all getting the same thing in order for everyone to succeed. You're getting what you need to succeed based on your needs and what I can provide. Not just because everybody got a milk crate, I want one. You may need 2 or 3. You know, let's see what we need to be successful. So, all right, what else? What we got?
Setting clear expectations, you know, what you're expecting them to achieve, what you want to see out of them in the classroom, you know, classroom roles, and all that stuff.
Awesome, great job, right. You have to set those expectations, and you have to teach those. Just because I come in and find a seat. You know, I've had kiddos come in, sit down on top of the desk, you had to turn the chair around, sit down backwards or whatever, lean back in and stuff. Guys, when you come into my classroom, this is what it looks like to us, find a seat. These are where you find your materials, this is what I expect of you. And when they do that, you model that behavior, you practice that behavior, you encourage that behavior, provide them with that constant corrective feedback. Good. And so also, like you said, the expectations, if I don't know what's expected of me when I go to the carpet area, if I'm a little fella and I go to the carpet area, you know, when I'm on the carpet at the house, I'm doing flips, I'm rolling around, I'm, you know, jumping jacks, kicking and flopping and going on. You have to tell me, what are your expectations of me when I go to that area? What are your expectations of coming to my section in the classroom, or to pull kids to the back, or however you do it? You know, so what are the expectations of the kids? Thank you very much. What else we got? It says, let students know what they can do, not what they can't. You know, don't run, don't talk, don't chew gum. What can I do? Wet paint, don't touch. Oh, I'm touching. How many of y'all touching? Come on, you be honest. All right, thank you, Miss Kim. I appreciate it. All right, thank you.
Kim always
Yes,
gets
I'm
in trouble.
touching you. Tell me not to do stuff. Yeah, that's it. So good. All right, what else we got? Any more? All right. Thank you, folks, for speaking out and sharing. Hopefully you had some ideas that are in the book. Maybe if there's not, you got an idea, please by all means share that idea. So to maintain, maximizing the use of our time, again, this is have materials ready and available. Now, the section 2 group, you can be looking over this section as I'm talking about it briefly if you wish. retaining attention and transitions. Now, one of the things that I like to talk about, which you wonderful folks did a wonderful job of my attention care. Sometimes we have, snap your fingers or whatever, clap your hands, that way the kids are paying attention. Just simple, quick, hope that works. You guys, ladies and gentlemen, did a wonderful job following the directions and following the expectations. Well, I told you, we practiced, and then you did it on your own independently. So that's, I have to have those attention-getting signals. Because if not, if somebody's over here still talking and you're up here presenting the material or going over a lesson, they're gonna get lost. They're gonna be lost. And then how many times? What'll I do? I don't know how to do this. And then what do? Well, if you've been paying attention, you know. Hold time out. Don't get that counter-aggression going. You say, okay, all right, one more time. Don't make me tell you this again for the 5th time, one more time. So, but make sure that you got their attention so that they're ready to learn. Transitions. How many deal with transitions? How many have to be responsible? Do you take the kids out of the classroom? Yeah, so. How many have transitions within our classroom? Right, we have sections. Now, kids transition all day between academic subjects. They transition from staff member to staff member. They transition from the room to the cafeteria, down the hallway, transition from, to the gym, transition outside. There's several transitions throughout the day. Some things that, even just changing from math to social studies or language arts or whatever, there's a transition period in there. A lot of times we can say, all right, put your books up, let's get your math books out. The kids are like, football, you get a 2-minute warning. I didn't get nothing. Put that book, I'm not done. And then you got that going. So make sure that you have some way of transitioning your students from one activity to the next. If you're transitioning outside of the classroom, what are the hallway procedures? Make sure that you know those and you practice those with your kids and you go over those and do those as well. All right, you got a couple minutes? Look, some of the time management things. It talks about a big activity, breaking it down into chunks. Or we call that scaffolding. Scaffold activities so that they can do this. I'm successful. Wow, I got part 1 done now. Let's move on to the second part. And let them see those small steps that they're making toward an assignment or a project or whatever it is. That way they see their progress. That way you can encourage them. You can brag on them. And it's not overwhelming. Like I said, you hand me a notebook full of paperwork that I have to do, it's going to blow me away. I'm not doing any of it. You hand me 1 or 2 sheets at a time, I can do that. I can get that done. That other stuff just too much. Again, like I said, our kiddos. How many work with little folks? K3, K4, I guess. Wow. All right. What about 6 on the preschool? Some of them preschool? Those are fun. I love preschool.
I worked with them last year, but I was just part-time.
Yeah.
Just 7, 8, but this year I'm cool with things.
Good. Oh, you'll love it. Everybody just give you a rough time. Love
Everybody.
it. Yeah. Oh, you're the new kid though, that's it.
So we just appreciate you being there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, what about 6, 7, 8?
We've got 3rd through 6.
3 through 6? Okay. 6. High school? I think with high school, yeah. I think we give high school students a little more, I guess, freedom. We still kind of guide what they need to do, and we're there with them to support them and encourage them. But they kind of have a little bit more, they think they have a little bit more freedom than everyone else, because you want them to be like their peers, right? You want them to be as much like their peers as possible. And you treat them that way too. Yeah, we know their disabilities, we know their shortcomings, but hey, you can do this, I know you can, I have high expectations, and you treat them like they can, just like any other kid. Even though you know their traumatic experiences they've been through, you know what's going on with them at home. You're happy that they just made it to school. Yeah, they come to school the same thing they had on for the last 3 days, but at least they're up and they're at school. They're getting something to eat, they're somewhat protected while they're in school. All right, and, let's see, all right. Okay, so what we got, folks? Quickly, materials ready and available.
Make sure you have what you need before you start.
Awesome.
Everything they need.
Thank you. Make sure you have what you need before you get started. Even teachers.
Yeah.
I've been in class many times. Well, boys, I'll be right back. I gotta go get this off the copier. And then by the time that happens, what happens?
The whole class.
Yeah, the whole class, they all with you, or they're all telling each other, you've done lost control, and then they're another 20 minutes into trying to get them back under control, back in the thing, you know, and then you're like, where does 45 minutes go? Well, I was 10 minutes at the copier, 20 minutes wrangling them back in, and then I don't know what happened to the other 15. We got something to go. That's right. Thank you, very good point. Make sure you have those materials handy and readily available. I had a little container, well, I didn't, but my assistant, she had this little container, little shelf that had, you know, whatever subjects, 4 subjects, 5 subjects, whatever. And like I said, I had 8 kids. Well, if you count for multiple personalities, I'd have between 8 to 72 in there. One day, you know, you don't know which one it is. And so she would have their names and what handouts or what materials or what they were working on. Easy and accessible. Reach over and grab it. That's it.
Yeah.
So good job. Have extra paper, extra pencils, pens, whatever you need. I always made sure that I was good buddies with the custodians because when they sweep the rooms out at the end of the day, they sweep pencils out in the hallway, they pick them up, bring them to me, and I had a can of pencils. Every morning when I come in, they have me some pencils that they sweep out there. You know, appreciate that. You know, a lot of my kids be like, I don't have a pencil. You know, we'll send them to the office. Well, that's not gonna help anything. Here's the pencil, brother. Let's go. Let's go keep moving. You know, so anyway, you got good. What else we got?
Give the students attention before you start teaching.
Thank you. Just like us, if we hadn't got folks' attention, we'd still been talking. So, good. Do you have an attention getter, or you just?
I have new students this year, so who knows?
Oh, okay. That's a very good point, though. You got new students, so you can teach them. These are my expectations. These are how, you know, I collaborate, work with my teacher, but these are things that I expect of you when you're in my area. Very good. And you can teach that to the new students. Awesome. Anything else? All right. What about what about transitions? Make sure that I know the transitions, I know the procedures, make sure I know where I'm taking my kids. You know, if you're new to a school, you might want to get there a couple of days early and try to figure out where all your kiddos are going.
And make sure you count them in transitions so you know they all get there.
I like that. Yeah. And sometimes my guys, when they first came to school, they want to touch everything. You know, the kids want to do it, touch the walls and the pictures and the paintings. Yeah, why?
It's new to them. It's new to them.
It's new to them, right? It's new, something new, something. This is pretty. This is clean. You know, and I've got rules I have to follow. I hate rules, but I got to know where I'm going, and I like to, you know, our kids, even though they tell you they don't like rules, they don't want to follow the rules, they like that structure. They like that routine, just like we do. They like to be able to know where I'm up. When I get up this morning, I know where I'm going. Our kiddos are the same way. They like to know what's happening. One thing that I like to use too, in the classroom, and a lot of us say, oh, that's baby or whatever. I use a visual schedule quite a bit, something that I can manipulate. You know, it's a great strategy we use with the kiddos on the spectrum. But if you think about it, every one of us has got one of these things. Well, most every one of us got one of these things right here. Has yours got a calendar in it? Mm-hmm. Do you put stuff on your calendar in there? I write it down. I usually do it on the phone. I write it down. That is a visual schedule. That's a visual reminder of I have this appointment. It's on my calendar. It's on my phone. You know,
I have a virtual calendar, it's actually congregated.
and there was stop sign. That's a visual representation of what you do. So we use visuals, the exit signs. You know, we got signs pointing to the cafeteria and things like that. Those are all visual representations, so they're not just for kids that are on the spectrum. We use those calendars and schedules every day, just like the and they will help your students. That takes that abstract idea of time and makes it concrete. If you say, well, you got a little fella every day at 8:30, 9 o'clock, 9:45, 9:50, 10, 10:15. When's lunch? When's lunch? When's lunch? When's lunch? You got this schedule up here, you can fill off. We did our morning schedule what's next. Right, lunch is coming up, this is what time, have a picture, have what the activity is, and then have the time up there as well, just to those visual schedules are, like I said, they help. All right, you want this. Hate to rush, but we gotta get ready for lunch. Well, we got 11:50, oh, just anytime. All right, next section we're gonna be talking about. Thank you folks so much. We are going to be promoting. We're going to be effective instructional strategies is what we're going to be today. All right, so when it comes to instructional strategy, check current knowledge and skills. A lot of times we expect our kids, because they've been in their last class, or last year they're in fourth grade, they're able to competent enough to do fifth grade or sixth grade or whatever. And we just throw it out there and we don't really check what current knowledge they have, what current skills they have, and what prior knowledge. And if we awaken that prior knowledge or drive them to figure out what's going on, what they already know and can do, encourage them and have a positive tone, then we check those knowledge and skills and keep moving. Presenting new material. Again, break new material down into segments that they understand. Use the language that your kids understand as well. Make sure that you speak to them in their level of understanding. Now, if it's a little fellow, and if you can, sometimes I can't, but if you can, get down on their level. Now, once I get down to here, I usually have to ask one or two of them to help me back up. So, I mean, they're like, So that helps with that relationship. So just look on their level, look them in the eye, face to face. Always be cautious, of course. No fellows can kick, but just be able to get on their level and be able to talk. It's kind of intimidating. And, as big of a fellow as I am, to stand there and look down on them. It's kind of scary to them. You're not going to build that trust. You're not going to develop that relationship. With the practice, we talked about I do, we do, and you do. I do an activity, I show you several examples, we do several examples together, we work together, I correct misunderstandings, I correct mistakes, I provide that positive corrective feedback in a timely manner so that we're not practicing the wrong thing. So I did an assignment for you, we did several examples together, and then short term, we're going to have you to complete this assignment or some of these problems on your own. Now, I'm not saying we're done, I'm not helping. Need assistance, ask a elbow partner, or think pair share. Ask ones, ask twos ask one, or, raise your hand if you still don't understand. But I do, we do, you do. And sometimes we get to the you do part, and guess what, we gotta start over. Let me show you how to do this a couple more times, because you gauge how much understanding they have as you're going through that with the weekend. And then the regular kid. All right, folks, what we got? Big brain. This is a safe space. It's great. Use my lip. Thank you. Easy for you to say. I'm sure it is. Good. Yes. And example. Give me an example. I'll put you on the spot. All the rest of you better be ready. Okay. Flashcards. Using letters. Blocks for math. Right. Unifix cubes or whatever. Awesome. I've seen some of the literature strategies use little cards and things like that, grid paper that they can write letters on and stuff like that. Yes, but anything that you can use hands-on with a lot of our students, our special ed students, I had kiddos that could excel. We'd send them to shop or to whatever, or Votech or technical college now, hands-on. Have no problem at all with those kids. They were perfect. They could do whatever they asked them to do. But if they had to sit in a classroom for 30 minutes or an hour and listen to a lecture, you might as well forget it. They were too busy worrying about what am I going to do when we get into the shop class? What am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And our kids can tell us what they know without paper and pencil all the time. What are some other ways they're studying? Other things that we can use, our students use to show that they have the content. Should show that they know what they're doing. You know, a lot of times my guys, they could talk to me about it, but if I asked them to write down what they were saying, from here to pencil and paper, it didn't happen. So, you know, it's just, what are some other ways out there to show them knowledge? All right, good. What else we got? Thank you for that.
Material in smaller steps.
Yes, break it down. And there is a, have y'all been on, I'm sure you've been on Google, some of the AI stuff, I mean, what is it, Chat GPT? I mean, my gosh, I put in there, you know, write me a description of a presentation, and they wrote, I was like, wow, that's wonderful, copy and paste, yeah, so. But there's one of them that, I can't remember, I think it is, I hate to say, anyway, model school maybe or something, anyway, magic school, that's it. You can tell it to, there's a section that breaks down the process, and you can tell it how to sharpen a pencil. Then it'll break it down into 2 or 3 steps, and then you can break each step down into individual steps as well. And it just goes all the way down to from the time you pick the pencil up and everything. I mean, it's really cool. So I think it's magic school, and maybe AI or something. I'm not sure. Just get on there, look at Google and some AI stuff. Yeah, and so, but it's a really good website. The staff can break those down into the steps that they can accomplish easily and quickly. So, any other things? So we get to
Directly add on new current materials also.
build on prior knowledge and add current stuff as it becomes current. Yeah. And then you gotta make sure that the alternative environment is conducive to adding those to, because a lot of times we get a burn, we get excited, want to add something, you know, to get everyone's attention, and then it's 2 or 3 students here figured out, and we gotta go over and do the same things. But yes, like the way you said that, add and material adds second process. A lot of times, how many of you get, my guys have slow process this week. That's all it was to it. They could answer whatever you asked them, they could do anything you asked them to do, but my 2 little fellows in the first grade, if you asked them their name, what today was, and what color in the sky was, you've lost them. They couldn't do any of it. They didn't know their names, they couldn't tell you what the day was or anything, because you asked them too many questions at one time. So, because I asked them one question one day, and I got called away real quick. So I ran over to the door, of course, this never happened to anyone, right? You'd be in the middle of something, get this, yeah. Went over, went back about 15 seconds later, and he rattled off a perfect textbook answer, and I'm like, what in the world is he talking about? And then my assistant, she's like, will you ask him, blah, blah, blah. And at that point, I realized that the wait time that I had to give that kiddo was a little bit longer than the 3 to 5 seconds that we usually give kiddos opposed to think about and respond. So think about that wait time, think about how fast they process information and what they can do, and how you can help help them with that. Anything else? Thank you, ladies, for your participation. Part of the instructional technique. So you're gonna establish positive relationships with your student, but with your, I guess, your supervising teacher or your teacher or whatever, make sure you have those relationships with those teachers. Now, if you have a new teacher or a young teacher, you know, you guys go work together to figure out what kind of culture you have in the classroom. And it's always best if you have a culture that supporting each other. We may not always agree, you know, I didn't always agree with what my instructional assistant did, and I would be silly and try to buck that, and guess what? She was absolutely right the whole time, I should have paid attention. But no, not me, you can't tell me that's going to work. She was right, I had to apologize, and had to buy lunch, which I'm all right with that, but anyway. Make sure that you build those relationships and work together with the folks that you're assigned to. Organizing for success, again, organization, classroom, materials on the wall, where you pick up your materials, how you spend your time planning with your teacher to let them know, you know, they let you know your schedule, then, all right, so then you work it out with them, you'll work together to develop your schedule. Then they figure out what students you're gonna be working with, what you're gonna be doing, and things like that. So it should be a teamwork. You know, it's difficult at times, but make sure you work as a team. And then confidentiality, we've been through that, I don't know how many times, several times, right? Well, some of them, but anyway, confidentiality, there's a whole section in the last part of the book about confidentiality. Somebody said, just don't say nothing about nobody. There you go. But just the confidentiality thing is just, think about what you're saying. If it's your kid, my kid is in special ed, got an IEP, you know, I'm not gonna be out there, if it was your kid, would you want somebody standing in Walmart talking about what little Dougie's doing in school? Can you believe he did that? Can you believe that thing, he called that or said that? You know, you don't wanna be doing things like that because that's your little Dougie. You gotta love that little Dougie, but you can't share and tell everybody else what's going on. Unless it's of course, a legitimate educational interest, then you can talk with your teacher, with your staff at the school and things like that. Outside the school. Oh yeah, he's a cool kid. Oh yeah, he's a handful. Yeah, he's fun. That was my explanation always. He's fun. You would love. Yeah. So. All right. So what we got, folks?
Biggest thing that I saw in there that caught my attention was several problems that you may have with another aide or the teacher is private, not from the student, because there's a relationship you need to show them that you have to be.
Good. Thank you. It's great. Really. Yeah. And that way you can both iron out your differences and say, all right, we don't agree on that, but what are we going to do for the kids? This is what we're here for. I'll work with you. Don't have to love every second. I like you. I love you. Don't have to like you all the time. So, but what can we do for better? Thank you. Anyone else?
Be aware of the strengths and prejudices of the people you work with.
Right. Very good. Computer technology stuff blows my mind. I got a call for help all the time, and they already know it, so they don't ask me to do any computer stuff. Yeah, very good. But anyway, yeah, thank you. But be aware of your strengths and your weaknesses, and the strengths and weaknesses of the team. Anyone else?
With the teacher, like, explain to you or what you're doing in the classroom.
I love that because, like I said, a lot of times my instructional assistant, she did. She was a nurse, she was a mommy, she was a grandma, she was an aunt, she was a fireman, a police officer. I mean, she was everything, you know. And so I always asked her, you know, I always say, hey guys, this is Miss Kim, I think was one of them. So yeah, hi Miss Kim. So I said, Miss Kim, she's got just as much authority as I do. You know, we're working together as a team. If you got a question, you ask her. If I'm busy, if she's busy, you got a question, you can ask me. But we're a team, we're working together. And if she asks you to do something, please follow those instructions. Please follow those directions. She's not gonna ask you to do something crazy. Just do what she asks you to do. All right? Cool. What else we got? We good? I think it's about time. Thanks, everyone. Oh, one more thing before we go. Behavior specific training. Everybody did a great job. What's that mean? I sat here having my feet propped up on the table. Sweet. Did I do a great job? Did I didn't fall over chairs? Be specific with your praise. Thank you for your attention. Have a wonderful